Steve completely loses it. Carrie might have just met the man who finally sees her as more than just stylish. And Miranda gets drenched in a salon showdown that fans are calling the most unhinged scene of the season. And just like that season, 3 episode 10 isn't just dramatic, it's a full-blown emotional roller coaster with family explosions, accidental plant murders, creepy puppet roommates, and one wild reveal after another. Everything you thought you knew about these characters, throw it out the window. Because by the time this episode ends, relationships are shattered, loyalties are questioned, and the line between growth and disaster is paper thin. From Steve's explosive rage to Carrie's confusing new spark, let's dive into the breakdown of the most chaotic, hilarious, and heartbreaking episode yet. Asterisk, let's talk about Steve. The man who once represented quiet patience and warm loyalty finally breaks. And not in a small way. He snaps. From the second he walks into Miranda's apartment, you can feel something simmering under the surface. It's not just about fatherhood anymore. It's resentment, frustration, years of emotional buildup. And when Brady opens his mouth, it all erupts. Brady's big news isn't just that he's enrolling in culinary school, it's that he's gotten someone pregnant, a girl named Mia, a total stranger to the family. Steve goes from joking about losing his personal chef to exploding with fury. His voice, that once comforting gravelly tone, hardens into something almost unrecognizable. He accuses Brady of being reckless. But the pain in his voice isn't just about this moment, it's about everything. It's about being left behind. About Miranda choosing something else. Someone else. About feeling like the rug's been pulled out from under his life. When Steve says, "She's having your baby, but doesn't want you," the room goes silent. Is he talking about Mia, or is that a direct shot at Miranda, a crack in the foundation? He's been trying to keep stable for years. The fans aren't stupid, the double meaning is loud. That line echoes like a ghost of the past, exposing the emotional wounds Steve never really healed from. Brady, overwhelmed and disgusted, storms out, not just from the conversation, but from the apartment entirely. And Steve, he's left standing there, not as the hero of the scene, but as a man unraveling. Even diehard fans of Steve are split now. Is this just a father pushed too far? Or has Steve finally stepped into the territory of a man who's let bitterness eat away at who he used to be? The chaos of the dinner doesn't end when Brady walks out. Miranda's left scrambling to pick up the pieces. She jumps into mom mode, but it's clear she's also in shock. This isn't the Steve she married, or even the one she divorced. This is someone who's spiraling. And the thought that she might soon be a grandmother? That reality hasn't even begun to sink in yet. It's all too fast. Too raw, too real. She ends up venting on a group call with Carrie and Charlotte, still dripping in disbelief. But even they seem unsure how to respond. Steve's breakdown is more than just dramatic, it's heartbreaking. Because behind the anger is a man who's been ignored for too long. A man who once smiled behind a bar, now scowling in a kitchen. And whether or not fans agree with his rage, one thing's clear. Steve's no longer the soft-spoken, easygoing guy we once knew. The question now is, has he changed for good? Or is this just the start of something even darker? Meanwhile, this entire bombshell with Brady opens a door to a future none of them are ready for. A potential baby. A complete stranger named Mia. No clarity, no certainty, and absolutely no plan. The idea that this next generation, Brady's generation, could already be facing parenthood is jarring. Especially for Miranda. And the way Steve handles it, it's lighting up fan debates across the internet. Some are calling it out of, others say it's long overdue. But what no one's arguing is this. That scene was explosive. It was real. And it might have just changed everything we thought we knew about the Brady family dynamic. What makes this even more intense is that Steve's rage wasn't just about Brady's news, it was a mirror of everything left unsaid between him and Miranda. And even though she's trying to move forward, trying to be the bigger person, you can tell she's shaken. She's not sure if this is Steve's final breaking point or if he's going to spiral further. Fans are now theorizing that this moment might lead to a bigger confrontation in the finale. One that could reveal secrets about Steve's past few years we've never seen on screen. Some even think there's a hidden reason for his emotional outburst. Something deeper than just Brady and Mia. And if that's true, this could be the tip of the iceberg. Carrie and Charlotte can barely contain their shock. But they're too wrapped up in their own messy lives to offer more than support. And that, in itself, is the theme of this season. Everyone is spiraling at once. No one's really okay. And while Carrie's about to find a sliver of something new and exciting, Miranda is caught in a storm she never saw coming. What started as a quiet family dinner ended in total emotional collapse. And the fallout is just beginning. While Steve is falling apart and Miranda's life spins out of control, Carrie is glowing. Not because everything's perfect, but because for the first time in a long time, she's not letting heartbreak define her. After her painful breakup, with Aiden, fans were expecting Carrie to collapse into her old patterns: late-night wine, sad voiceovers, and emotional spirals. But instead, she's doing something unexpected. She's writing, not just journaling or drafting a column. She's fully in her writer era, pouring her energy into her new novel with a kind of focus we haven't seen since her early career. And then, in walks Duncan. The energy shifts immediately. He's not flashy, he's not mysterious, he's not trying to seduce her with charm. Instead, he does something that completely disarms Carrie. He notices her mind before her looks. He's obsessed with her writing, especially the line she keeps repeating in her story. She had done all she could. It's not just a sentence, it's a confession. A loop? A way for Carrie to convince herself that walking away from Aiden was the right thing, even if it still hurts. Duncan reads between the lines. He sees that Carrie's story isn't about a fictional man who dies from an old war wound, it's about Aiden and the emotional injury that never really healed. Carrie is surprised, even shaken, when Duncan calls her out in the gentlest way. It's intimacy without pressure, vulnerability without games. And she tells Seema something that hits home. I've never had a man see me as smart first. That line lands like a revelation. For years, Carrie's been adored, envied, and admired, but rarely understood. Her fashion, her looks, her flirtiness, they've always spoken louder than her voice. But Duncan listens. He listens in a way that makes her nervous. And that nervousness, that's where the story begins. When Duncan invites Carrie to a publishing party, she hesitates. She's scared to cross the line between work and romance. But she goes anyway, and she slays. Draped in a Vivienne Westwood dress with heels that sparkle like shattered glass, she walks into the event with the grace of someone finally remembering who she is. Not someone's ex, not someone's almost. Just her. The energy is electric. Until Duncan's ex-wife Imogen shows up. She's chic, cold, and clearly still bitter. She throws shade at Duncan for missing deadlines, mocking their failed marriage in front of Carrie like it's a twisted game. The tension is thick, the kind that makes you hold your breath. But Carrie doesn't flinch. She watches, observes, learns, and in that moment, something shifts. This isn't a rebound, it's something else. A new possibility. After the party, Duncan invites her over. He says, no writing this time. And Carrie, in classic fashion, walks away. But just when you think the moment's passed, she turns around, literally runs back, and kisses him. It's not just romantic, it's cinematic. It's Carrie taking control of her story again. They spend the night talking, writing, and yes, more than that. In the morning, Duncan drops a line that's as sweet as it is cringy. You gave me a new lifeline. Carrie rolls her eyes at the cheesiness, but can't help smiling. She's in a purple dress, purple the color of bruises and royalty, pain and power, and that's exactly what this moment feels like. She's not healed, not yet, but she's not broken either. She's becoming something again. Someone now. Here's where the fans are split. Is Duncan just a passing spark, a creative crush that Carrie needed to get back on her feet? Or is this something real? Is this Carrie's next chapter? Or just a page she needed to write to move forward? There's buzz online that Duncan might be heading back to London. And if that's true, then this romance has an expiration date already stamped on it. Some viewers are calling this Carrie's rebound era a moment to breathe before fully embracing her single life. But others see something deeper. Something that's less about forever and more about now. Duncan sees Carrie as a person, not as an icon, not as someone to chase or claim, but as someone to understand. And maybe, just maybe, that's the most romantic thing of all. But Carrie's still cautious. She's been through too much to fall headfirst into something she can't control. There's a wariness in her, a silent clock ticking every time she lets herself feel too much. She remembers big. She remembers Aiden. She remembers what it costs to love fully and what it costs to lose. That's why she doesn't gush about Duncan to the girls. She's keeping this one close, private, untouched by opinions and theories. And that privacy, that's rare for Carrie. It means something. Still, Seema picks up on the change. Charlotte notices the glow. Even Miranda, through her chaos, senses Carrie's energy shift. It's subtle, but real. Carrie's not mourning anymore. She's exploring. And whether it lasts or not, Duncan is helping her see herself differently. Not just as a survivor of breakups, but as someone still worth discovering. And that's the real plot twist. While Steve is spiraling and Carrie's cautiously dancing with a new kind of intimacy, Miranda finds herself pulled into a different kind of chaos, one that involves identity lies, a hair salon, and a girl named Mia who might be carrying her future grandchild. What begins as concern quickly turns into full-on obsession, as Miranda goes full detective, unable to sit still while Brady's life crashes headfirst into potential parenthood. And let's be honest, Miranda has always needed control. Whether it's in a courtroom, a relationship, or a family emergency, she handles things by taking action. But this time, her need for answers sends her straight into one of the most awkward, uncomfortable, and hilariously chaotic scenes the show has ever pulled off. Miranda doesn't confront Brady. She doesn't try to reason with Steve. She goes straight to the source, Mia. And instead of reaching out like a sane adult, she decides to go undercover. Yes, Miranda Hobbs, once a powerhouse lawyer and now a woman halfway through a total identity shift, books an appointment at the salon where Mia works. Not as a stylist, not as a manager, just a shampoo girl. That's right. Miranda shows up pretending to be a normal client, and before she knows it, her head is tilted back in a sink while her maybe grandchild's maybe mother is scrubbing shampoo into her scalp. It's already ridiculous, but then Miranda starts asking questions. The kind of questions that don't belong in a hair appointment. How far along are you? Are you sure it's Brady's? Did you get a paternity test? It's invasive. It's intense. And it's very, very Miranda. But Mia, she's not having it. Played by Ella Stiller. Yes. Ben Stiller's daughter, Mia is a walking contradiction. She's bubbly and bold one second, chaotic and careless the next. She's drinking Red Bull like it's water. She lets out a random fart and doesn't even blink. She tells Miranda she kept the baby because she's a double Libra, as if astrology is the key to parental readiness. It's unfiltered, it's bizarre, and it's kind of iconic. Fans online are already calling her a messy queen and the wild card the show didn't know it needed. But beneath all the noise, one thing is clear. Mia has zero patience for Miranda's interrogation. The second Miranda reveals who she is, that she's Brady's mom, the energy shifts completely. Mia doesn't scream. She doesn't argue. She splashes Miranda in the face with a bowl of water and kicks her out of the salon. Like full-on eviction. No apologies. No remorse. Just soaking wet hair, a bruised ego, and a salon full of silent clients trying to process what just happened. And for Miranda, it's humiliating. She walks out drenched, embarrassed, and no closer to understanding what Mia's real story is. But what makes this scene truly unforgettable is what it reveals about Miranda. She's unraveling in a way that's different from Steve. Her breakdown is subtle, but it's happening. She can't control Brady. She can't undo his choices. She can't fix Steve. So she focuses on Mia, thinking that if she can understand her, everything else will make sense. But it doesn't. In fact, it just makes things worse. Back at home, Miranda's trying to process everything. She's dripping, wet, and not just physically, emotionally. She's saturated. Her attempts to connect with her maybe grandchild's mother have blown up in her face, literally. And now, she's left wondering, was this all a mistake? Was she overstepping? Was she even right to assume the baby is Brady's in the first place? Because here's the twist. Mia might be hiding something. That double Libra comment? Fans are dissecting it online. Some think it's just flaky chaos, but others believe it's code for something else, a distraction, a way to keep people from asking real questions. Maybe she doesn't know who the father is. Maybe it's not Brady, or maybe she knows exactly who the father is, and she's playing games for reasons we don't understand yet. Miranda, of course, is spiraling even harder now. She wanted control, closure, some kind of emotional roadmap, but instead, she got water in her face and more confusion than ever. And now, she's left with questions she can't answer. What kind of mother is Mia going to be? Is Brady even ready for fatherhood? What does this mean for her as a grandmother? Is she about to be pulled into a whole new chapter of life she never asked for? Even more, there's a quiet fear bubbling inside Miranda that this baby, if it's really Brady's, will tie her and Steve together forever. After everything they've been through, after all the silence and regret and anger, after years of moving on and letting go, this baby could reopen every old wound, re-entangle every severed thread, and that thought, it terrifies her. She thought she was done with Steve, that they'd moved into separate lives, separate paths. But if Brady becomes a father, Miranda becomes a grandmother. And Steve, he becomes a grandfather. And suddenly, they're a family again, whether they like it or not. The fan base is divided. Some are siding with Mia, saying Miranda had no right to barge into her workplace and interrogate her like a prosecutor. Others think Miranda was justified, a desperate mom just trying to make sense of a nightmare. But everyone agrees on one thing. That splash scene was one of the wildest, funniest, and most dramatic moments of the entire series. The tension, the chaos, the soaked sweater, it's going down as a classic. What's even more fascinating is that Miranda still doesn't have closure. She's back at square one, just wetter and angrier. And if the previews are any indication, this Mia Brady storyline isn't even close to being over. There are theories swirling that Steve might confront Mia himself, or that another twist about the baby's paternity is coming. And if that happens, if Brady isn't the father, what does that do to everything Miranda just went through? What if she humiliated herself for nothing? But for now, all we know is this. Miranda tried to take control. She tried to fix a messy situation with logic, questions, and a shampoo appointment. And she got drowned for it, metaphorically, and literally, it's a low point for her. But it might also be a turning point. Because sometimes the only way to move forward is to stop trying to solve everything and just let the mess happen.